Welcome to The Vault at 201 North Broadway, podcast for innovators and problem solvers talking all things small business, entrepreneurship, and workforce development. Today's guest is an active member of our community, literally, through teaching, coaching, and inspiring health and movement in playful and functional ways. Sarah Kennedy is the founder and owner of Pura Vida Studio and a health coach with Profile by Sanford. Sarah believes in creating a welcoming, positive, and encouraging atmosphere for everyone from every walk of life. She's an advocate for our community and gives back through being a leader, a motivator, and a cheerleader for the people within it. We can't wait to share with all of you Sarah's journey opening her studio and helping others find the joy in their own health journeys every single day.
Thank you to Big Sky Economic Development for supporting The Vault at 201 North Broadway. Big Sky Economic Development provides leadership and resources for business creation, expansion, retention, new business recruitment, and community development.
Well, hello, Sarah. Thank you for being here today.
Good morning. I'm super excited to be here.
Yeah, we're happy to have you on and to hear your story. You have a pretty unique story, which is fun. So before we get into Pura Vida, your studio, we'd like to know some of your personal background, starting with where you grew up.
So I am from the beautiful Big Sky country. I am from Billings, born and raised. I went to school here, actually, to college. I went to here, MSU Billings, and I actually graduated in communications and Spanish, so which also helps tell that story of where I am today.
Awesome.
That's awesome. That's cool.
So your career now is based around health and wellness and movement and dancing, a big thing. So what were some of your movement and activity influences growing up?
Yes. So, movement and dance actually came to me a lot later in life. I didn't actually grow up dancing. I actually found it really kind of in high school and in college. And I just found a joy in movement, like everyone has their outlet. And for me, that was dance, whether you're happy or sad. And I just started to like it so much. I was always wondering, where are the other people in Billings that like to dance and like to grow? Where are the dance clubs, And so, it started then, but it really started when I moved to Costa Rica. Oh, wow. And that's actually where I found Zumba. And so I would say a lot of my influences came from the fitness industry, actually. When I found Zumba, which you could actually work out and dance, I was like, well, this is the best combination ever. So it really started there and just grew from that.
Okay, wait. So you said just casually when I moved to Costa Rica. So were you in college when you did that? And then also, so I always have big questions. So I'm just going to give it to you right now. So why'd you move to Costa Rica? How long were you there? What was it like living there?
Tell us your life.
Yes, I would love to. So I actually did start when I was in college. I went for a semester for a study abroad program. And so that was just for completion of those credits. And when I was down there, I just fell in love with it. I think anyone who travels or anyone who's been to this country, it's absolutely amazing.
I'm going to touch base about some travel tips later.
Yeah. I mean, the people are kind, the sun, the beaches, the lifestyle, it's so tranquil. And again, the dancing culture is very strong there. And so I went there to finish out my credits. But when I came back, I just knew that I wanted to find a way to get back there. And so, I just went to Google God and actually just started Googling, how do I work in a foreign country? How do I move to Costa Rica? And I ended up finding the job posting on Craigslist of all things. So you can do that. Just go out there and look for a job anywhere. You'll be able to find one. And it was for a tour guide, actually.
Oh, wow.
So it was for a tour guide to do paddleboard tours, mountain bike tours, kayak tours, and this really cool upscale vacation home area. And so I had an interview, and after it went well, they're like, when can you be here? And I'm like, when do you need me? They're like, as soon as possible. So within 2 weeks I had packed up and I had moved, and it was a whirlwind. It was the best experience of my life. It's which really led me again to where I am today.
So awesome. I have two questions following up with Marcel. How long did you live in Costa Rica?
I was there for 3 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what's your favorite kind of dance?
My favorite kind of dance is salsa.
Ah.
So when you were there, you said you kind of really fell in love with like the Zumba piece, but living there, did you live in that resort area? And then how did you really get plugged into dance when you were doing these classes of paddleboard, kayaking, mountain biking? Most of those sound okay. I'm like the mountain biking. I don't know if I'd be, I'm like, I don't know.
All of them sound like I probably would fall, like fall out of the like kayak, fall off the paddleboard, fall off the bike, but I'd get back up.
I think I'd rather fall like into water.
Than on rocks.
I'll do the water ones, not the mountain biking.
I'm with you. I was a little nervous with the mountain biking. It was pretty mountainous there. So, one thing I'll say is if anyone out there is like interested in learning a foreign language or learning about a culture, like immersion, 100%. I went to school and learned Spanish. I thought I knew Spanish. Then I went there and I'm like, I don't even know what they're saying to me. So I think immersion is definitely the best way to learn about any culture. And that's really what it was for me. I did not live in that area. I actually lived in a very small little quaint house, a number of miles away. I had to take the bus every day to work. I lived on a very small income, but I was able to live, work, play. It's a lot simpler life there. Mm-hmm. And so, again, with the dance aspect of it or Zumba aspect of it, I had just been invited by a friend to come to a class that she taught at this kind of community center for women to empower women. Because in that culture too, it's very, women are kind of the household. They take care of the kids. They do the house cleaning, the cooking, a little more culturally. And so it was an outlet for them to come out and just dance for free. This was a free thing for them. So she invited me along. And when I saw this and I saw their faces, there's just the smiling, the energy they got from it, how grateful they were for the opportunity that they had. It just lit me up,
Oh, wow. That's really powerful. I hope everybody has a point in their life where they have a turning, like, aha moment. I can't say that everybody does, but I'm glad that you did.
I did. That was it.
Spending 3 years there, what made you want to come back?
Yeah. I don't think I wanted to.
That's so fair.
But, it gets hard to live far away from your family. I'm very connected to my family. And again, the wages I was earning, it was really hard for like plane tickets and things like that. So I think it just felt like time. Like it just felt like a good time to reconnect back with Billings.
Yeah.
And I was also excited to bring a lot of what I learned and, getting into the Zumba scene here. I was very excited to share that with everybody.
Yeah, I think that's one of the coolest parts of travel. In an earlier episode we released, Chris Carpenter talks about how she will go to these shows and stuff and bring back those ideas to, Sanctuary and Joy of Living. And so like you in Costa Rica, you got to experience this whole different culture and these ideas. And we're so grateful you brought them back to Billings for us. So you came back to Billings, and then what is kind of the timeline until you started Pura Vida?
Yeah, it's actually quite the timeline. It's funny to reflect back and you just see, where the connection points were throughout your journey of what led you there. But, so Pura Vida really means pure life directly translated. And that's a huge slogan or saying in Costa Rica. And so that's where it came from. It's very popular. If you look up anything about the country, you'll really see that. And so a lot of stores are named that, things like that. So it's a very powerful word in that culture. So that's what I wanted to work around as far as the studio. But, I came back, I jumped headfirst into Zumba, and I was teaching at gyms. I was also, progressed from teaching at gyms to actually renting space from other people to expand there. And I always just felt that there was a missing piece as far as, I think any industry, you have people that want to collaborate, and I think you have people that don't, and they kind of want to stay in their own lane. And I just felt like there was a space missing for dance and fitness where we could all just come together. We could all share what we know. We could share those experiences. We could share our classes. The people would in turn then be able to experience multiple classes from multiple instructors. And so over time, the natural progression of teaching at a gym, renting space, I was like, I think I want to try this. And so in 2020 COVID hit. And I think that was a game changer for a lot of people as far as what am I doing? Like, what do I want in life? And it just kept pinging at me. I think, we all have a calling for something. And I also believe that when you're misaligned, and when you're aligned, And I was just feeling some misalignment, and I'm like, I need to make some changes. I need to make a decision here. And so the opportunity presented itself, and I was terrified.
During the most difficult time of business ownership, you were like, I'm going to start a business.
That's a great point. So, and the reason I did that was because I got a really good deal.
Yeah.
On the lease.
That's awesome.
And I think you're right. That was also a scary point to do that. But the lease was a huge thing for me because real estate's very expensive, especially commercial real estate. And so, I had this great opportunity, great deal. And I'm like, what's the worst that can happen?
Yeah.
It took many, many, many months of kind of convincing myself like I could do this. I had the courage to do it. But again, I think when the time is right.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So what kind of classes or group activities? I know there's a variety. Do you offer?
I'm assuming there's a Zumba.
Yes.
Yes. And so, of course, Zumba. Myself and Jen, who were kind of business partners on the side there with what's called Sizzle and Stomp. And that's just really our platform that we operate Zumba through. Boot camp is there. We have yoga classes there. We have a class called Grit Active, which is for like Spartan training.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
And then we have choreography classes and then another like sober dance fitness. So someone who really operates in the sober community here in Billings offers some classes.
That's cool.
So
that's awesome.
Do you have to be how do you get certified to even know how to teach all these things? Or do you come up with the programming? Like, how does all of that work for someone that like me who, I go to a gym, but like, how does that work as a owner of a fitness studio?
So I am licensed to teach Zumba. I'm a personal trainer through NASMA, so National Academy of Sports Medicine. So through those, obviously with the certification as a personal trainer, able to teach boot camp and things like that. But I stay in my lane. That's what I primarily teach. And then the dance fitness, you do get licensed through Zumba to actually be able to teach those classes. And they provide music and choreo to you.
Cool.
But you can also make up your own choreography if it's within the guidelines.
I think that's so cool. And you probably it's just, I would assume, gotten easier as you've done more. Right? Because to me, that seems like daunting because I'm like, oh my gosh, you're teaching people and you're moving and like you're breathing and then you're like, it's just cool.
You have to be motivational.
So right. You do. You're so right. There's a lot to it, a lot of cueing, visual cueing, verbal cueing. Mm-hmm. But again, I think when you love something so much, it comes a little more naturally, of course. And it's just it's a big party. I mean, there's no wrong moves in the class. It's truly just a big party.
So how often do you have classes at your facility?
So me personally right now, once a week for Zumba, every Monday night at 5:30 p.m. But there's classes all across the board. We have a schedule online that you just have to, anyone would have to check out, but we have classes all week long.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And so do people sign up with like a membership? Is it membership based, or if you want to go to a class, can you just pay to go to the one class, or how does all of that work?
Yeah. So really the idea behind the studio was for the instructors to have a space to be their own boss. So I opened the studio so that we could collaborate together, but they could also take this space and make it their own. And so everyone just pays the instructors to individually. I take a flat fee. So how my business model is I just take a flat fee from those instructors and they can charge as they want. So I think it's a great opportunity for them to grow their own business. So everyone just pays the instructors individually. But out on the website, I have their bios and their class information. And so they can find a way to reach out to them if they need more information.
That's awesome.
That's cool.
Oh, that is so cool.
Yeah. And such a cool business model to, just invite other instructors to use the space. Cause I mean, you're not going to be there constantly teaching Zumba. That's awesome.
So you're really community and health focused, and so we kind of see you all over the place. You go out, and so you have your gym, but I think you also coach at some other places too, right?
Yes, I do.
Tell us all about it.
I know. Everyone's like, what do you not do? I'm like, I don't know, but somehow it fits my schedule, If you have some time management, you can make it work. I also coach at F45. So that has been open in Billings just a little over a year. It's a really cool spot. It's team training. So you have two personal trainers on the floor at any given time. And we can hold, up upwards of 30 people in the class. It's pretty crazy, but it's functional training. So you're going to get cardio workouts, you're going to get strength workouts. It just depends on, what we're doing and the focus is that day. But F45, so functional 45. So every workout is 45 minutes. You're in, you're out. It's great. It's a fun time.
That's cool. That sounds intense.
Just
too.
this morning, I saw on Instagram, you were at Norm's Island. Was it? Oh, I love Norm's. Such a great place to go for a hike.
I live really close, so it's a go-to for me.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So that's like a nice transition a little bit. So your health, wellness, fitness, what are some other things that you like to do in your free time?
My free time.
Hey, you're like, I just told you I do everything.
No. And that's so funny. I always, I've had this conversation with people that I have to actually be better about finding some things outside of this, because whether we like to think about it or not, it is a bit of a job for me. Well, it is a job for me. So sometimes it really is more of an obligation than a pastime or hobby, but I kind of confuse those or mesh those a lot. Cause I'm like, what do you mean? I dance, I do class, I love it. But they're like, no, like outside of that. But I really do, as far as the activity side, I love getting out. I love our trail systems here. Love hanging out with just friends, family. I'm a big fan of kind of that kava bar in town now. I enjoy hanging out there. Getting out of town when I can. So, I am pretty busy like most people. And so just trying to stay active and have fun with friends and family.
Yeah.
But it's nice, that you enjoy what you do so much.
I do,
too.
yes.
I think it's like, It makes it less of a job and more of a passion.
So the other side of your work life is Profile.
Yes. So it is a health coaching and weight loss management company. So we really do provide sustainable habits and sustainable change, really education based. So it is profiled by Sanford. So we are backed by the dietitians and physicians there. And so it is really backed by science. And really this is a program to be your last stop shop. We're not reinventing the wheel. We're just refining it, but we want this really to be education based so that you don't have to come back again, that you're not looking for something else. In the future.
What led you to become a coach there?
What led me to be a coach was more alignment of what I'm doing already. So while I was kind of growing this business with Pura Vida, I was actually in banking for 7 years. But I'm very grateful for that too. I have some lifelong friends, and I had some great mentorship through that, which again took me to where I am. But I was in banking, and my studio was taking off, and I just really wanted to create a career that really aligned with what I'm already doing. And so it really, really goes well hand in hand.
Yeah.
And so for those that maybe aren't as familiar with Profile, like what is it? What does it offer? Like what are the things that people can come to you for?
So anybody who's looking to primarily lose weight is generally who we see first, but anybody looking for a lifestyle change. And so that is going to look different for everybody. We coach to 3 pillars, which is nutrition, activity, and lifestyle. First and foremost, most people are walking in our doors because, as I mentioned, they are interested in losing some weight. But as we move through, the coaching and client relationship, you'll see that there's a lot of, layers. And so we'll start to help them with a lot of different things, whether their stress is really high, maybe their sleep behaviors aren't great, anything. We almost become, we stay within our scope, but we almost become somewhat of a therapist to a degree with them. They really share a lot of their heart and they're very vulnerable with us. So, if anyone's just starting there, that's a great place to start. And then from there, we'll be able to help beyond that, or we might refer you out if there's other underlying, issues that we might not be able to assist with.
Yeah, that's cool. It's a nice program to have within the community, I think, just as Billings is growing. And I think that just seems like a thing that, I know like small communities don't have. So I think having that resource here is really nice for Billings.
Yeah, it's huge. I don't think a lot of people still know we exist, which has been a challenge because just, they actually opened during COVID too. So that was, I think it's been a challenge getting a little bit more known. And so really working hard to work with business partners and other people to really make ourselves known.
Yeah. I, share a little bit about myself and how I met Sarah actually was through Profile. And I just wanted to reiterate that weight loss is, of course, people see that. That's the big seller for it. But what I found out was the educational part of it is what has absolutely changed my life. Like, I tell people all the time, you know, your weight will change, fluctuate throughout your life, but the things you learn just about a healthy lifestyle are completely invaluable. Like, and also getting to hang out with Sarah was super fun. And, you know, having someone to like help you with some of that accountability, and, you know, you come across an issue, whether it was with dieting or just, you know, like you said, like stress and how to manage that. Having that coach there has been super awesome. And I even brought my mom one time right before the holidays, and my mom still talks about it. Yeah.
So how many people are on that team?
We're a team of 2.
Okay. Wow. So you guys are doing a lot.
We're doing a lot. You know, we can absolutely sustain it at this point, but our vision is to grow. But we are a team of 2, so we're busy. We're coaching on a daily basis, or we're, as I mentioned, you know, reaching out to business partners, doing different events, just being able to communicate and help them too, you know, collaboration.
Mm-hmm.
So if someone wants to like learn more about Profile, what's like the best way?
Yeah, so the best way would be get online. So it's just www.profileplan.com, or giving me a call, 406-384-6048, and talk to me directly, because the online system, you can book a consultation that way, but I can definitely help on the phone and get you in sooner probably than our online booking system should. But there's
so
a
nice
lot. Yeah, but there's a lot of great information on our site. It's really, really good. Mm-hmm.
I think one of the most interesting things about Profile is not only do you set people up for success, right? You have this counseling mentorship with them, but you also have different food items and beverage items that kind of help people go, okay, instead of grabbing this bar packed full of sugar that doesn't really have nutritional value for you, eat this instead. Can you tell us more about those products, and then tell us your favorite drink and like food product?
Would love to. And so another thing I want to add before I dive into that is, so we have a number of protocols there, and, you know, kind of to allude a little bit back to what you'd asked prior, is we do a full medical background history to know, you know, what is going to be the best protocol for that person. So we are aware of medication prescriptions. We want to be working closely with their physician. And we now have a protocol that we don't have to utilize our product if they don't want to, or if there's allergies, things like that. But our products are fantastic. So we do have shakes, we do have bars, we have different breakfast items, chips, some goodies, beef jerky. We have a lot of good stuff, and it's all packed with protein. All quality food, all FDA approved, and about 20% of your daily vitamins and minerals. So you're getting a really good, high quality product from us. And
That's awesome.
They're used as tools. There's something I always, you know, I think people in the health and wellness industry, or people who have gone through other programs, are a little, you know, gun shy, maybe for a lack of better terms, of, I don't want to get into products. I don't want to be dependent on them. We don't want them to be either. It's simply a tool. We start them on it because most people are already too busy, or they're not sure what to cook, or they don't have the time because of kiddos, or whatever the case may be. And so we're just providing them an option in the interim. And then we work them through phases so that they're able to be on full grocery food.
Oh, that's awesome.
So we
okay,
stick
so
with them
yeah,
through
it's
the
just kind of like
process.
you phase them out of it.
Absolutely. Yep.
Oh, that's
we
really
do
cool.
have people that enjoy the product, so they use it just like any of us do on, you know, grabbing a protein bar or shake. But
Drinking a protein shake right now.
there you go. And so, but yes, we do phase them out. We don't want them dependent on our product. That's not the goal.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So out of that, what is your favorite drink and favorite food item?
So my favorite food is definitely the fettuccine Alfredo.
Yes.
Yes,
That
15
sounds
grams of protein, and it's not like gross packaged food. It's so good. And I always like pack some veggies in it, and it's a perfect meal. And then my favorite shake would be the peppermint mocha. It's only seasonal. We only get it at Christmas time, and it's so good. So that would be my
They
favorite.
create the demand.
They
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
It's so good. So good.
Come winter time, everybody get your
know, like, I'm
Because
hungry.
it goes fast. I actually had a member.
I know I want fettuccine now.
I actually had a member bring me a box like a week or so ago, and it was so funny. And I'm like, oh my gosh. She's like, well, I didn't really like it, so I just had it. I'm like, you've been hoarding this for this many months? Like, bring it on over. So
Like, give it to
love
me.
it, 'cause it goes fast. It does.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's cool. It's like, trade it out while we can. Like, I'll give you what you like. I'll take these. That. Thank you so much. That's cool.
So you've mentioned now that you manage the profile store here, and then you also own and operate your own business. What are some similarities and differences that you have in operating both of those? And one thing that you would, say the big difference between managing your own business and managing an office for somebody else?
Yeah, so I think the similarities are definitely people at the heart of it. I'm in this for the people on both sides. And so just making sure that, the client is seen and heard through all the transactions, I think is really important. So I think that would definitely be, one of the big ones. Also, just it's very parallel what I do in both angles, really just working physically with people during classes, working, mentally, emotionally, and on health on this end of things. So it's very parallel. I see a lot of similarities that way. Difference is I like to manage my own schedule. So, I obviously have to be there at certain hours, and that can be challenging when I want to be maybe running over to the studio and doing certain things like that. But I think that it's very parallel in a lot of ways, more than different.
Awesome. Mm-hmm. You mentioned time management. It seems like with things that you're doing, you're good at that. Because I think sometimes, like, if people were doing a couple of these different things, like, that could feel overwhelming. So what are some of those, like, time management things that you do to help you be successful in your week so that you can do all these things and still feel good and energized and excited?
Yeah. So I definitely always take time for myself, practice what you preach. I think you really
Hashtag
do.
self-care.
Hashtag self-care. You have to put yourself first. That's old saying, if you can't pour from an empty cup, it's just true. It's absolutely factual. And so I always try to make time for myself. Like today it was walking at Norm's before I got my day going. I really am working on not, touching my phone or grabbing my phone in the morning first thing. And so that I'm really focused on me and getting going, because that just sets me up too for having a successful day and remaining, So really calendar, obviously. I have, my work calendar, my personal calendar, everything's on there. And then just blocking certain times out of the day as well for, again, me, whether it be just time for myself or catching up on certain items that I need to. So I really do just manage my calendar 100% of the time. I just sent an invite for like a meetup with my friend, and she's probably like, seriously? I'm like, I have to have it on there, or it's.
I do that with all my friends.
I mean,
too.
sometimes
Marcella's live or die by her calendar.
I'm like, sometimes I feel bad because I'm like, just meet up and chat, but I'm like, if it's not there, it's lost in the text world, and
totally.
So everything's on my calendar. But I do think the way to have the best time management is start with yourself. You have to have time for yourself.
Yeah. I just recently listened to a motivational speech. I wish I could remember the woman's name. Yeah. She was so remarkable, but
Kayla. It was Kayla. Not
Kayla Bokrall. I'd remember your name. But one of the 3 questions that she said every person needs to ask themselves every morning or every night is, where am I in my day? Or where was I in my day? Preferably in the morning, so then you can plan it. But that has been so revolutionary to me to think maybe it's 15 minutes, maybe it's 2 hours, but intentionally saying, where am I in my day, and prioritizing that.
Absolutely. Because you'll see, if you give yourself 2 hours to do something, you'll do it in 2. If you give yourself 30 minutes to do it, you'll do it in 30.
Yeah.
We just, and that's, I think, time blocking and blocking those things out is really important.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I live and die by my calendar also. But I also think sometimes I'm like you said, it's like if I put too much of a chunk of time where I'm like, oh, do all these things, it doesn't take me that full time. I can get it done a little faster. Yeah.
That's
then you have more room for self-care.
Yes.
Exactly.
When people say they call them the 30-minute tidy, and then I get a little competitive and I'm like, no, I'm going to beat the 30 minutes. I end up getting a whole bunch of stuff done.
I am competitive about weird things sports. I'm like, nah. But yeah, beating the time on cleaning. Yeah.
No one knows except me that this is happening, but I'm like, I'm going to beat this timer.
Or like the GPS, like I'm gonna beat what it says I'm gonna get there, and then you're
Kayla's speeding through Billings.
I'm sorry.
But I love that you said too at the beginning, you're like, I try to leave my phone away. I think that our phones are great in ways to like help us connect with each other, promote the things that we're passionate about or doing, like business wise. I think Instagram can be such a positive tool, but I also think that sometimes we spend, I mean, I'm very guilty of spending too much time. Like my phone, I'm so excited on Sunday when it like sends me a notification of like, oh, you used your phone 30 minutes less this week. Or when it's like, you use your phone an hour more this week. I'm like, shit, I did not mean to do that. But yeah, so I think that that's really nice.
Yeah, definitely sets your day up for success. You know, you don't have the email that ticks you off right away, or the bill that came in and stresses you out. You know, then you're already, your cortisol already spikes and you're ready and ready to go. So
you already have a chocolate bar in your mouth because of it.
Exactly. No,
Here we are talking about health and wellness and like eat your feelings.
We'll help you learn how to not eat.
Yeah, exactly.
Catch me at Profile a little later today.
Oh gosh.
Sarah's like, Kayla, you and I can have a conversation after this.
Let's take this offline.
Here's my card.
Yeah.
She is currently sliding her card across the table towards me.
So this is taking us back a little bit to earlier, but when you moved back from Costa Rica, were there some things about the community that were different? Or like, I know you come back with a fresh perspective, and I am so huge in that too, of traveling is so important as much as you can, whether that's internationally, domestic. I just think that it helps your perspective on things. But coming back after being gone for 3 years, what was that like? Because you got used to your own schedule, routine in Costa Rica, and then you're like, okay, I'm back. And it's been 3 years.
It was difficult. It was, I think when we come back from something, it's okay to like grieve it as well. Even though I was ready, it was hard. It was hard to leave that country and leave what I had been doing. And you almost feel like you don't fit in right away when you first come back too, is a little bit of how I felt. But that changed quickly just with, of course, reconnecting and rekindling with friends and family. But I think one of the biggest takeaways is we are just so go, go, go. I had just told a friend yesterday, I'm really practicing, slowing down. It's a practice because I'm not good at it myself. But that would be the number one. We are so go, go, go. I, loved the leisurely, the kind of, we'll get there when we get there kind of attitude at times. I mean, it really was, and it would never work here, but it worked there. So I think that was really hard to come back to, because I'm like, oh man, I don't want to rush and go. Like I want to just.
That's so funny you say that, because I moved to New Jersey as an adult and loved my experiences there, and I was brought back to Montana. But I felt like New Jersey was go, 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 and Billings was take it easy, have a moment. And you're like, Costa Rica was like, take it easy, have a moment. And Billings was like, go, go, go.
Yeah, just, like you have to be doing the next thing. You have to be working 60 hours a week, not 40, all of that. And that was a challenge, I feel like, to just get back into, get in the groove of things. Also just job hunting realistically for me felt really weird too, because I'll never forget the interview at the bank that I was at, because she like loved it. She, found it interesting, but at the end of it, she goes, "What are you doing here?" And I'm like, I need a job, because I mean, that was, so that was a challenge. I mean, my resume was pretty cool, but it didn't really fit in any, quote box. So I felt that was a bit of a challenge, but they took a chance on me. Thank you. And, those are some big ones for me. And just getting back to the groove of it was tricky.
Yeah. You probably got a lot more vitamin D down there too.
Yes,
we're a little lax up here.
It is I haven't looked recently, but it was like voted or known for like one of the happiest countries in the world, like a number of years ago. Yeah.
That's really cool.
It was.
And I think like the just cultural difference. I think America specifically is just we're rewarded for working 60 hours. We're rewarded for like the grind,
Absolutely.
you know, where other countries are like, yeah, we like Spain, we take a nap during the day. And like literally our businesses are closed from X to this time. And then we all stay out late and we don't go in. Or, you know what I mean? So it's just different. And I think that, even if when I'm gone for like a week, coming back feels like a culture shock. So like 3 years, I'd be like, oh my God, what am I doing?
Yeah. And I was also in a place too, like that's where I was just really fired up and invigorated too, to start teaching and, you know, sharing some of my experiences through my dance classes. And, you know, I felt that there was some resistance from people, you know, and that it's just another, you know, I think people don't always like, you know, I don't want to say maybe outsiders, but, you know, sometimes because I did feel kind of like an outsider for a while, even though I was from Billings.
Like you grew up here.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, I felt some resistance in that world. And so, you know, you start questioning, like, is this what I should be doing? And so, yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you stuck it out despite that.
And you started your business during the most difficult time. So guess what? Like, it's easy sailing from here, right?
Yeah. You gotta take a chance, you know, you always have to take that chance. I think when you're ready, you know, it's always scary to take that next step, but it will rise up to meet you.
Yeah. I have a question because I travel for food. And so what was your favorite food that you ate down in Costa Rica? And did you get to learn how to make some? Like, you know, can we have a cooking class? I'm just curious.
I wish I was one of those people. I'm bad about the cooking side of things. You know, everything was fresh there. Everything. They had, you know, markets you walk to, fruit stands you walk to, with fresh cheese, fresh fruit, fresh meat, fresh fish. So, you know, I don't know if I had a particular favorite. I just like the uniqueness of everything. I mean, they had fruits I'd never seen or tasted in my life. So I thought I think just trying so many of the different things was really, really exciting to me.
Was there anything super outrageous that you had?
Well, this is not outrageous at all, but I'm really weird about food that looks like what it looks like when it's alive.
Oh, yeah.
So they would, I mean, like a big thing was like serving the whole fish, skin and all. And that I did not like to see often, but that's not anything weird. I mean, we have that in a lot of places, but yeah, nothing like super outrageous that I can particularly remember. Yeah.
But how exciting to have
food.
the fresh access daily.
Gosh.
Oh, the seafood was probably just phenomenal.
Amazing. Yeah. I mean, you could literally, you know, walking down the beach, you just stop and pick up whatever at their little stands, little market. It was,
that's great. One of the things that I'm really jealous about in other community cultural areas is that they don't have like big fridges. They just shop every day. Mm-hmm. Like they go on their way home from work and they pick up what they need for their next couple meal, like their next meal and a half, right?
Absolutely.
Like, and then they do it again the next day. So all of their ingredients are fresh. They just, I'm really jealous about that because I think it makes a huge difference in health and wellness.
Now that I'm reminiscing, plantains would probably be one of my new like favorite little
fried plantains are delicious.
Yeah,
that was something like plantain chips.
Yes.
Yeah. So good. But plantain chips are good, but when you've had a fried plantain,
whew. And if you have it
delicious.
With like cheese or like beans.
Do they just fry it whole? Like how does
No. Well, I mean, I'm sure I hope no one's listening that really knows, but I mean, I cut them like so you want them like I like them a little harder. You can have them like really soft or a little bit harder, but then you kind of cut them diagonally into kind of like the chips you see that you get out of the packages. And then, you just fry them in like an oil. And then I like to eat them with like really fresh cheese or beans, like black beans or something like mashed black beans.
I've never had them like that, but it was like we grew up with like a Filipino family that lived next to us.
Yeah.
And so they would do the fried plantain. And I don't know if it was like a dessert or like exactly how they did it, but
like that. Yep.
He just would fry them up and then just salt them a little bit.
Yep.
And then that was that.
Yep.
And I mean, I started eating those when I was like 4.
Yeah.
I was like, these are great.
They are super good.
Yeah.
Super good.
I'll wait for you to bring those into the office.
Yeah.
I will make some fried plantains. Yeah.
I was just going to say, so we're all going to Costa Rica.
Does anyone want to sponsor our trip to Costa Rica?
That's really fun. And what a cool
we'll have to bring our tour guide.
Yeah. I want to go back. It's definitely on my heart. Just time hasn't been right, but definitely on my heart.
Well, maybe for a honeymoon.
Yeah.
That's
Some
cool.
fun life stuff. More fun life things
It
happening
is.
for Sarah. That's exciting.
I didn't mean to drop that. We
No.
can cut it if you
No.
want. Sarah just got engaged, so let's all have a girl moment.
We're all going to Costa Rica.
We're all going on your honeymoon, so we've invited ourselves.
You're more than welcome. More than welcome.
What would be more awkward?
So this has been amazing. I just want to say, Sarah, you are such an inspirational person in our community, and like so awesome that you had this experience in Costa Rica, and now you're trying to, bring it to Montana and give us all that unique experience. And you're so empowering, and especially like bringing people out of their shells, both with dance and your studio, and also at Profile as well, being a health and wellness coach. It's been super awesome to like get to know you and see all of the things you do in the community. So as we're wrapping up, I wanted to ask, what advice or words of wisdom would you share with listeners who might be feeling stuck or a little scared and want to make that change? Whether that's towards like starting a business for one, or towards incorporating more movement or healthy habits into their life.
Yeah, great question. Loaded question.
Yes.
I think I have a couple thoughts actually around that. My first would be do it messy. I think we look for, whether that's starting a business or that's asking for help or reaching out to, start with Profile or health and wellness journey. We're always looking for a perfect time. We're always looking for that perfect moment, but there isn't one. There really isn't.
You don't need to work out to go to the workout. Like you don't need to be at a certain level to just jump in, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that's so important to realize it's okay to be a beginner. And there are people out in the community that want to support that and will support that. And so do it messy. Just go for it. You have to. And again, kind of like I referenced earlier, when you're ready to take that step, that next step will rise up to meet you. So, and then a little bit around consistency. I think that word can be overused sometimes, but unfortunately it is a key to success in so many ways. And I would say consistency equals completion. Like you have to be consistent in your actions and your behaviors in order to reach a goal or in order to, start that business, whatever that vision is that you have inside you. You're going to have to be consistent in planning and taking action on it, consistent action.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
On that note, what's one thing that you would go back and tell your younger self?
Stop waiting so damn long. Oh my gosh, I'm a chronic overthinker. Again, something I practice every day. And I look back on things where I'm like, why didn't I move sooner? Why didn't I leave sooner? Why didn't I try sooner? Because I would just get in that cycle of overthink, no action. And I've noticed now in my life when there's something, again, kind of on that alignment, when I feel misaligned, I'm very quick to, not knee jerk, but I'm very quick to reanalyze and fix or change the outcome of that rather than sit in that discomfort for so long.
That's
Which is great self-awareness, which is awesome. So it's been so fun having you here today.
You.
Before we end each episode, we just end with 3 like quick rapid fire questions. So, no, it's fun. This one is fun. So, what's one thing that gets you to relax, de-stress?
It would be dance. We're doing some choreo classes, which I've just launched with a friend. Called Empower Hour, actually. So another little avenue, empowering women through movement and dance. And so it's movement, it's dance for me. And anything that's going on, I love to play some music and move. It is just my jam.
That's awesome.
That.
I too like to dance, but to my own beat.
And that's the
no one
best
watching.
way. That's the best
No, I
way
don't
to
care
do
if
it.
people watch, but
But, on that note too, though, I actually really, really do like podcasts. I listen to quite a bit of podcasts and Audible books. And so I'll do that quite a bit too when I'm just, mulling around the house.
Yeah. People say like, if you have your own little dance party throughout your day, and I've noticed if I play just like upbeat music in the morning or something, and I like move a little bit, immediately better mood. Like it's such a difference. And
Yeah, well, and like Kayla did when she's like, "Sir, just get up and like shake it." Like I should know this, but it's true. You literally can rid that energy off of you. Just shake it off.
Literally shake it off.
I think someone made a song called that.
yeah.
Woo.
Shake
I'm not
it
going to
off.
try to sing it.
Me neither.
You T-Swift.
What is the best piece of advice you got for you as a small business owner? Sorry to hit you heavy.
Yeah, that was. What's the worst that can happen? I think would be that question posed to me, because again, back to, really analyzing things very heavily sometimes, what's the worst that can happen? Just go for it, right? And in my case, it would be a little bit of debt and go get a job again. When you really break it down, debt isn't great, but if you really break it down, there's so many ways you can come out of something. So what's the worst that can happen?
Yeah. I love to think back, like, if you face a scary situation, you get through it. It's like, well, did you die? Like you live to tell about it.
Yeah. And we only go from experience from that point. We're not going from the beginning. We're going from experience.
Yeah. And it almost always can be overcome, which is good.
I agree.
All right. Our last one. What is your go-to coffee order?
My go-to coffee order is an iced white chocolate Americano with a little bit of cream.
Oh,
those are so good.
Yeah,
I used to order those
good.
all the time, and now you're reminding me. Delicious. So fun. Well, Sarah, thank you so much for joining us today on The Vault at 201 North Broadway. It's been so much fun talking with you, hearing your story, and we can't wait to see all the other things you're going to be doing this next year.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you for joining. You can find the resources and tools mentioned in today's episode at thevault201.com. If you like this episode, be sure to subscribe and share with a friend.
Thank you to the Small Business Development Center for sponsoring The Vault at 201 North Broadway. The Small Business Development Center provides you with free one-on-one counseling, business plan assistance, marketing research, financial projection assistance, and more to small businesses.